Okay, let's get started here. I am going to go over your Mod 5 menu design project that we're going to start. So welcome to a new week. As we get started here, we ended our newsletter last week. Hopefully you guys got my feedback, and I will be going through all of your part twos pretty soon here to evaluate. So kind of be patient with me. Lots of stuff going on. So I'm going to now go over what is due for this week, and then tomorrow will be our my office hours. So listen to this recording, get started on this project. If you have any questions, come on in on during office hours, open office hours. All right, so this week again we have a discussion, and it's about color as a distinguishing feature. So make sure you're engaging in that early to get the points, most possible points, and the most out of it this week. And then you have a new project, which is your menu design, part 1, and part 2 will be next week. So you're going to be designing the inside of your menu first, pages 2 and 3. And just an FYI, if you're missing any work from the previous weeks, now is your chance to get them in. All work for week 1 and 5 will be due unless you have received prior approval from me. So just kind of FYI. In here, and I know it looks a little different on mine than yours because I'm in instructor view mode. So just kind of an FYI. You have your link here, which is the 8 essential restaurant menu tips. Go ahead and click in that article. Read through this. There's some great tips on how to make a very easily successful menu. And I just sorry about that. I just clicked out of there. Get just some tips and things to be aware of, and that will help you as you go forward. All right, and then you have your discussion. So you're just going to answer the prompted question and make sure you're doing your initial post has to be 75 words. 2 replies to substantial replies to your peers with at least 40 words. Research and provide a reference. How will you use color from your defined color scheme to draw attention to certain food items and sections in the menu? So once you pick a restaurant brand, start thinking about color theory and research. Do your research, look at other brands that may be competitors of that brand. So for instance, you have 3 clients to choose from. So you're going to choose one of these. You can do the Great Steak restaurant brand, Pizza DeBella brand, or Wok and Faux brand. So you have the steak, the pizza Italian, and then the Wok and Faux, which would be, I believe, the Asian restaurant. So look up other restaurants that you think would be competitors, read through the menu assets, see what you kind of, are more interested in designing for. And thinking about that, then you go and answer your discussion. How will you use color from your defined color scheme to draw attention to certain food items and sections in the menu? So look up color. You can even look up here. Let me see here. Color theory and menu design. I'm just doing this as a general search here. So I'm sure there's like tons of restaurant information making your menu work harder for you. Psychology of menu design, color schemes that affect your customers. There's, a ton of different resources here. I would definitely check out. Here's one, understanding psychology for restaurants and brands. And you can kind of see different brands in here in the restaurant or food industry, and the properties they're given and what the colors mean really are, important to read up on. So this is where color theory comes into play. And then, for example, if you want to do the pizza, like for example, I will look up pizza brand menus and go into Google Images and take a look at, different menus in here that might inspire you. Like, let's say if you like the simple look like this and you think that would work well, go ahead and drag and drop that off and put it in a folder. In that folder, you can put inspirational colors, inspirational fonts, menus, whatever you find inspirational, you can add those into that folder. And then what happens is you're developing kind of where you want to align your menu. You're seeing what's out there, what works, what trends are out there, what looks modern, what to steer clear from. Some of these show the inside, which is great. So really kind of get researching first, see what's out there in that competitor, what's out there now, so you can kind of gauge how you want to go. If you're looking up the steak brand menu, let's see if ones are here. You can see kind of how some people branded their menu. Maybe steakhouse menu might be better for that one. And you can kind of check out, some of them are different pages, some of them are like front and back, some of them are, set differently, but just kind of get a general feel of the look that you want. So maybe something strikes you as like, ooh, I really like that, the color scheme. I like how, the imagery is in here, it's very simple. The black contrasted theme might be something you want to go for. So gain all that information first. Asian menus, you can take a look at that. Some are, some are a little bit more expensive and some of them are a little bit more inexpensive. So choose kind of where you want your Chinese, or your brand to reflect, because that really, that really kind of makes it, aligns how you're going to choose different elements. Like for instance, I would say this is probably a little bit more, on the medium to the upper scale design of, maybe this will be a little bit more expensive. Whereas maybe in comparison to this one too, that one looks nice too. I'm thinking of one that's a little less expensive, I should say. Like for instance, this one I would think would be cheaper just because it looks less like luxurious. There's a lot of information on here, and it just speaks to me as like a value type menu. So decide on the scale of like, do you want it to be upscale, or do you want it to be like something that's, inexpensive, which you can still have, making it look nice, even if it's inexpensive. It's just different elements that you would choose. Okay. So once you decide, then you talk about your color scheme and what you think would draw attention to certain food items in the sections of your menu. And then go ahead and start your page 2 and 3. And it's nice to start the inside first, because the cover will come out from all the design decisions that you decide on the inside. So it's kind of like a book. You want to design the whole book before you design the cover, because it'll give you a really good idea and sense of, what the book's about, or what the menu's about, what the brand's about, before you do the actual menu. So we're going to do the front cover. So we're going to do the front cover and the back next week. So inside is what we're focusing on this week. All right, there's menu assets here that you want to click on. It's also accessible here, so you can click on there as well. So go ahead and click on these, either one, and then unzip them. And in there, you're going to find a folder, and I'll show you here, 3 folders actually. Once you unzip it, you'll find 3 folders. One's called Great Steak, Pizza de Bella, and you got your Asian one. So each one of these has their own menu, imagery, their own logo. So this would be the logo. This one has different imagery in here for it, and then a checklist with a menu Word file to copy and paste from. Same with the pizza. That's the logo for the pizza. That's all the imagery, and then the checklist. Same with the Asian restaurant. There's the the logo, if I could talk. So you don't have to design the logo. Everything is given to you there. And that's, sometimes that's what happens. You're not designing the logo all the time. If you have an existing client that doesn't want their logo touched or revised and it's already there, if the brand exists, then you're just doing the menu. So this is the scenario here. All right, and then you're gonna do this in InDesign like you did your newsletter. You're gonna zip your InDesign file up after you're done the 2 pages, and then you're gonna zip it for submission. Okay. So this week you will begin to create a 4-page menu. Only pages 2 and 3 will be designed using images and menu text. Choose only one restaurant. Download the appropriate zip file found in menu assets that contain this week's 5 restaurant checklist, restaurant menu, text, and images. All right, so let's take a look at the checklist before we do anything with the demo here. One second, let me open up the checklist. It's a PDF, just like you had last week with your newsletter. You have a checklist for this assignment. Okay, so let's go through this. So here's your week 5 menu checklist. Only Adobe CC fonts can be used. Each restaurant has required Adobe fonts indicated on menu text. So it actually specifies. Here's the link if you need that link. Requirements InDesign only. Your size is going to be 8.5 by 11, portrait format, so 4 pages. Add menu text to pages 2 and 3 only this week. Place images, minimum of 4, maximum of 6. So no more than 6 and no less than 4 in your 2 to 3 pages. In your parent pages, you need page numbers like you did in your newsletter, margins and columns defined, restaurant logo, which is provided. I want to make sure you're doing your paragraph styles correctly. So we want to see the menu item in your paragraph styles, your menu description, your menu categories, and bullet list in your paragraph styles. Define color scheme. Default colors cannot be used. Define a color scheme. Define baseline grid. You're going to package the InDesign file that includes a high quality PDF, and then you're going to zip it for submission. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm just going to go through, like, if I were a student, how I would start this. So let's start the demo here. I'm going to just share my whole desktop so you can see what I'm doing here. So open up InDesign, go File, New Document. This is completely new, so you're going to want to save this in your week 5 folder and name it Menu Design, Project 5. Okay, 8.5 by 11 is what we want. So 8.5 by 11, we're in inches. And we could do facing pages to have that checked because we want that cover to stand out and we want it to be the inside 2-3 page will be a spread. Pages, we want 4 for now. We'll set that. Everything else you could probably keep all as default. We can always change that as we go forward. And go ahead and you can zoom out and look at all your pages here. Oh, and you can also go to your pages. And this is kind of how you set up your newsletter. Okay, and go ahead and save it as your first initial last name. And we're going to name this Menu Design Part 1. I'll save this to the desktop for now, so I know where mine's at. You're going to ignore page 1 right now, and you're going to do page 2, 3, and 4. Okay, actually 2 and 3. 4 is going to be 1 and 4 is going to be designed next week. What we can do is we could put the page numbers in. And typically you don't really want to put a page number on the cover. You never usually see a page number on the cover. So I would ignore that. I would actually go into your pages. This is how you would do that. And see where it says none above your parent page. Go ahead and click on that little none and just drag it over just the first page so that A disappears. So now when you go and change your parent pages to your page numbers, it won't apply it to your cover page. Okay. Now I want to pick pick a brand so I know what I'm doing here as far as my brand. I think I'm going to go with the Asian menu. And I only have to put the page number. I don't have to put the actual name of the brand down here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to draw a box down here. And just like we did it before, go up to type, insert special character, markers, current page number. And we can always change. Remember when I said we could always change the font of this and everything? So just leave that as is. Same thing over here on the right page. Go ahead and draw your little box from margin to margin. This one you're going to do a little differently. So bring up your paragraph panel. So if you go to your type and tables, choose paragraph. And we're going to do right aligned because we want this page number to be on the right side. Type, insert character, markers, current page number. Boom, perfect. All right, that's all you need to do right now. Just save it. Zoom out. And then go ahead and click on your pages and you'll see those numbers change to the actual number. And you'll notice that the cover doesn't have any number, which is perfect. Okay, so we're going to start on page 2. And I just opened up that Word file they gave me for my Walk and Faux, which is the brand I decided to go with. So here you can see cover text. We're not going to copy that. Required text. This is all for the cover. We're going to ignore this part. We're not doing that till next week. Same for the back cover. We're ignoring that. So we go down to menu text, and it should be similar in all of, if you choose the other 2 brands, it should be similar in there too. Required text, Adobe CC font. So we want to make sure we have these fonts for this particular menu item. Okay. So what I would do is I would go back here. Let's see here. There's different ways you can do your Adobe fonts. I'm going to click on my iCloud. I'm going to go to the fonts. And I'm just going to type in here just to see if I have these fonts. I should be able to there we go. I just clicked on that F and I hit browse fonts. And I'm going to search for these fonts that my checklist is saying I need to do. Hold on one second. Where's my checklist? Oh, there we go. I'm going to copy that. I think I typed it in wrong here. Hold on. There's like a period. There we go. So this font, once I hit the little search menu bar, is showing me here, view family, so I can view it. This is one of the fonts I want. So I want to activate this. So I'm going to click on this activate fonts. And there you go. That's all I need to do. All right, so let's check out the other ones. So I went Turfins Light and Medium. So I would go back here to the adobe.com, type in Turfins Light, or you could just type in Turfins. Let's just type in Turfins. I think it goes to the same. Perfect. View family. And in the family, it should be light. It should be a light version. Yeah, right here. Thin, light. Yep. So just activate the 12 fonts there. And I should be good to go. I think let's see if that's it. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so I'll just get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. So I know that I have to use this regular font, the Belly for the menu descriptions, and the Turfins Light for the menu item, and the Medium for the food category. So that would be like appetizers, salads, that would be used for this. Okay. So menu descriptions would be your body copy. And then your menu item would be Turfins Light. Okay, so let's go over that again. This is your food category. This is your menu item. And this is your menu description. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and drag all the way down. Just click that top menu item all the way down. So I'm copying all of this. Command C. So I'm just copying this part underneath the menu text. I don't need to do that part. I'm going to take my type tool and just draw one big type box. I'm going to do the same thing over here. You can always link these. We're just pasting in the copy now. Click back into that first type box with your type tool and hit paste, Command V. And not all of it's going to flow in there. Remember how we linked that? We clicked that little red square on the very bottom and then clicked on the second box we created. We still might not see all of it, and that's okay. We're just linking those two. We don't want to go at page 4. We don't want to design page 1, so ignore that. All right, now this is a good point where we want to make our paragraph styles because we already know we want, you know, certain things to be certain fonts based on the specs here. So let's go ahead and do our menu descriptions. And actually, let's do this first. Let's do the medium, the food categories, because that's really what comes first is this one. So Turfin's medium is the menu, is the food categories, menu food categories. So when I do a basic paragraph style, so if you don't have paragraph styles, go to window and go to styles, bring up your paragraph styles, hit the little plus sign for a new style. We want to name this and double click right over top of it. Food menu categories. Is that right? Let me just double check that. Yep, food categories. Now we want to go to basic character information and we want to put that belly. Is it belly? Oh, I'm sorry, Turfin's medium. I had that all wrong. And we want to hit medium under the font style. Now, does it give a point size or no? No point size. Okay. Let's go ahead and make it 11 right now with a 14 leading. I think that looks good. And we can always change like the color and all that later. Let's just click OK. That's really all you need to do. All right. Then we're going to do your menu item, which would be what it's called. So spring rolls, for example. So menu item. Go ahead and do another paragraph style. Double click over top, menu item. And we went Turfin's, but we went light. And we're going to make this just a little smaller. So we're going to do 10 by, let's do 10 by 14. We can always change this too. All right. And then the third one we're going to do is menu descriptions. That's kind of like the body copy. And that's belly regular, if I'm saying that right. So add another description or paragraph style. And then we're going to name this menu descriptions. And this is the belly. Light, regular. We want this to be regular. And I'm going to do 9 points and I'm going to keep 14 for now. Click OK. All right, now we have to assign it. Let me get rid of these so you can see. Assign it these because we already created our paragraph styles, but we have to actually assign it. So I'm going to choose appetizer, and this should be our food categories. This next one would be our menu item. And then this next one is menu description. So it's up to you how you want to do this. You can go through and just do, oops, this is, we don't change it. We do menu item under this. Menu item, menu descriptions, because this is all one section. This is appetizers, this is salads. So salads would be a category, for example. So it's kind of nice because it has it all, you know, just make sure you're following the right hierarchy. Has it all broken down for you? And it's kind of a pain in the butt at first, but like once you have it set, you can always go back and change it really easy by just double clicking on your paragraph style and changing it there. And I'll show you in a second what I mean by that. So set your paragraph styles properly. Oops, this would be a category, my bad. This would be a menu item. So we're in soups now. Menu item, menu description, menu item, menu description, Menu item. Oh, this is a category. You got me. Menu item, menu description, menu item, menu description. We're going to continue over here. Oops. Menu description, menu item. And then we have another category. Menu item, menu description, menu item. Oh, no, that's menu item. Menu description, that kind of tricked me there. Menu item, menu description. So just get this stuff set first before you start dealing with, you know, all the, let's see, what's that say? I would say this is probably menu item. Okay, before you start breaking it up into columns, because you don't really want a line length like this. This is too long. So now you can actually go in here and change your text frame options, say like 2 columns or 3 columns, depending on what you want to do. I'm just going to do 2 columns, click OK. And now you have, you know, everything set in here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate some of these spaces in here before each, just make sure they're consistent. And I'm going to choose my menu descriptions, double click on that, and I'm going to go to indents and spacing. And I'm going to do space, let's see, space after, I'm going to put 1, 2, 5. And what that's going to do is put space after each of these so that it's consistent, although I don't want it after all of that. So let's see here. Let's do, I'm sorry, go to food menu categories. That's where we want it. And we want to do indents and spacing, space before. It's still doing the same thing. That's really weird. Menu items. I shouldn't have spaces before that. So let's go to indents and spacing. Okay. So I'll just take that out. I think I accidentally did that initially. So what you would do is you would just go to your menu items, go ahead into indents and spacing, and you would put space before 0.25. And what that does is it gives you equal space that's a little bit bigger in between each section. Okay. Now, if you wanted to say, make this bigger, you can go in and make that category bigger if you wanted to, make it stand out a little bit more. And then it changes all of your categories to that same size. Okay. All right. And then this is where your style comes in. You know, you're looking at other menus that are, you know, that are very, you know, that are inspiring you. And this is where you come in and actually decide, okay, I want to do something like this style. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you something really cool that you can try. Let me go up to, we're going to go to pixabay.com. And what's really nice for menus is if you have a real nice texture in the background for some of these. So I'm going to do a black texture in pixabay.com, and I'm going to choose something I think would work for this. I kind of like this. Let's see, it's kind of neat. So I'm going to hit download, show you how I would use this. Oops. Chimneys. All right, just downloading this simple texture. Place this onto my desktop. And then I can place this into my actual background. Now, the only thing is once I do that, my copy's not going to be easy to see, but we're going to fix that. So I'm going to take my rectangle frame tool and I'm going to draw out a one big, huge picture window image or rectangle frame tool. I'm going to go all the way across both pages with it. Command D is file place, and I'm going to place that image in there. Now you can do this if you want, and this doesn't count against your image count. It's just used as a textured background. Fit frame, and then I'm going to send it back. Arrange, send it back. So that way my copy's in the front. Now, because I can't see it, I got to change all of my colors of all the type to paper color or white. So I'm going to double click on each one of these and go to character color and change it to white. And maybe this one is red, like something that pops. So let's see. And again, your theme color you should be thinking about. If you go to your color and you go to, let's go to color here, I'll show you. If you go to your color panel and you, not like that, color, let's go to swatches actually. And you right click on your color swatches on the right corner. We want to go to this one. You can do different color themes. So you can see here. I say it might be easier if you do this. Hold on. Color gradient. Oh, CC libraries. I believe you can find color in these as well. Actually, let's go back to properties. Let's go to color. Color values. And color swatch. You can, let's actually, let me see, CC libraries. Let's see. If you go to the libraries, you can actually look up colors. So you can add them to your colors too. So let's go ahead and add some of these to here. So you can pick a theme. Let's see, color type. So pick a theme that you think would work. You can always change this as you go forward. But this is where you would actually pick your color theme. So let's say I want one with red. Maybe this one would be kind of cool. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so my color theme type is then added to my library. All right, so let's see. Go back to Adobe Color. There we go. So just click on your Adobe Color in your CC libraries, and here, this is where you can actually quickly access them too. So let's say you definitely wanted to do red. You could do monochromatic, you can do triad themes, complementary themes. This is just showing you all types of different color schemes. I'm gonna pick one that I think would work best for this one. And you can create these. They don't have to be, you know, something that's set in here either. You can create your own color scheme. Let's see. Let's say we'll do you can actually see the codes in here too. So you could kind of change it based on here. I think you have to pay extra for the colors actually. So what I would do is I think you have to pay extra for that. Take the values of whatever colors that you see in here. I do think you have to pay for it possibly. Adobe stock, all libraries. This is a library. Okay. And then what you could do is just change your components here, like based on what the color schemes are. Okay. So it's a little tricky because you can create your own new library too. Like let's do menu design. Let's create our own menu. And then what we could do is add our styles here. So actually cancel. Let's go ahead and fill color. And then we'll say we want to add another extract from an image. So like maybe we want to extract from an image itself. Like if we had an image we could take out of. So for instance, if you wanted to add their logo, which on my desktop, let's add their logo here. Oh, I can't add their logo. Let's say you take it from one of these images. Let's open this up. You can actually use the colors from the images that are in your folder and add it to your theme. So you can actually base it off of that. So when you choose your color, see in food menu, I had categories, color, like how we changed that color in there. We have to actually load it in our swatches here. Hold on. Swatches. Load swatches. Let's see. I have to export this out. Hold on 1 second. Yes. So I'm going to put this in my assets folder. And I have to export it out of here and import it into here. Load swatches. Hold on, I think it's loading here. Okay, for some reason it's not letting me. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just have to click on it 1 time. I thought there was an easier way. So just clicking 1 time on each of these will import it into your library. See that? It's easier than I thought, right? All right, so now I can go in and check make sure it's the same color, even though it looks the same. It's not the same, so I click OK. And then that way, why is this not white? Oh. So then that way it's consistent. So you could do something like that as long as it's readable and works. That's good. That would work. All right, and then we have to think about the images that are given to you. So we have to use at least 6 of the images in our assets folder. So we got this 1, 2, we got 3, 6. All right, so we got 6 that we can use. And it's completely up to you how you want to import this. You can actually do circles if you want, or squares. It's completely up to you. Why is this not set? This is all funky too. Hold on 1 second. Food descriptions. There we go. Well, you'll notice if you do that, what's not set right. All right, so I'm going to go to my rectangle frame options. I'm going to choose a circle. And I'm going to go ahead and do a circle, a little one. Command D, and then I can go back and place any of the images that I have in my folder. So here's the appetizers, for example. We just want to make sure that it fits in there perfectly. So we're going to go object fitting, fill frame proportionately. And here we go. We can put this up here. Now, the idea with this is to align it. The images should all be the same size for the most part. If you're showing them smaller for consistency and rhythm and all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my text frame options to 1. And I'm going to set the width here a little bit. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So it's not so long. Pull this a little bit to the side. And we're going to do something here cool with the images. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the images that I think work really well in some of these categories. So obviously appetizer would go with appetizer. We got salads. Do we have a salad pick? Let's see. There's entree, salad. We got a salad pick here. Again, option, fitting, fill frame proportionately. If you have it selected. And we have soups down here. Do we have a soup pick? Yep, we have a soup pick. Perfect. Object, fill frame proportionately. Perfect. Okay, so all of these are the same size. I just have to align them. So shift select, go up to window, choose your object align, and just make sure that they're all aligned. I'm going to do distribute in between. So distribute objects, vertical centers if you're stacking them. And then just making sure that they're, equal on the top and the bottom. So that looks pretty good. Let me hide my guides here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now, it might be starting to get a little hard to read. I thought it was darker than this. I don't know if something happened when I changed my view settings here. Yeah, it became really, really, really. Let's see. Light. I don't know why that did that. Like I wouldn't change anything here if it's this dark, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like without the lines. Okay. So you can see there's separation, a little bit more space in between each section of category. And then what I could do is make this the same width if I wanted to keep that consistency. I'm going to go to properties and I'm going to see the width of this box. So if I look up here, this is the width here, 4.22 inches. So I'm going to select this copy box and I'm just going to paste that same width in there. And that's the same width on this side. And then I'll just copy these and paste them over here. And then you can align these as well. If you shift select these and then align it, say they're tops. So they're on the same. I'm gonna make sure everything's aligned perfectly. Oops, what the heck did I do? Oh, there we go. All right, and then obviously switching out any pictures. This one is a noodle picture because it's a noodle category right next to it. I would put maybe this one on this one. So the pictures don't have to be huge. And then third entree. And then we want to make sure all of our copy is placing. And I can see here my little red box is telling me we have more copy, but there's no more room. So let's go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to click anywhere on the right side with that clicked, with that selected. So we have this much to fit in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make this a little less thin as far as the width of our copy boxes. So now I'm going to make it, let's make it 4.55. Let's show guides here. There we go, 4.55. So let's make this a little wider. We're just trying to get that copy in here. And then I'm going to make some of the copies smaller. So let's do the descriptions, double click on my paragraph style. I'm going to make these a little smaller, and I'm going to pull up the leading on that. Now, see if that's working. If it's not working, we still need to do adjustments. It looks like I still have some. So I'm going to pull this over again. Let's pull this over to the margin. And we're going to make this isn't too bad if we get a little bit further. Let's do 5.35. And we'll do the same thing over here, 5.35. So it's just making these small adjustments just to make sure everything's fitting and it looks good still. It's easy to read. We can, once we're done fitting all of this, we can go in and check our breaks, make sure they're not breaking in a weird way. Oh, we still have just a little bit left over. Okay, so if that's the case, what you could do, because we only have beverages down here, what I could do to remedy this is just copy the very bottom drinks and put it in its own copy box. And actually, hold on. I see beverages should be a title. There we go. Perfect. So with that copied, I'm going to make another box, like a separate text box, paste that in there. And then what I'll do is I'll just make sure I'm aligning this. I'm going to pull margin down. On the first menu item of the drinks, I'm going to align the first menu item or the second column menu item with the same thing, the same baseline, I should say. Okay, so you could do something like that where, you know, you're using the most out of your space and not making the copy too small. And then what I would do is just zoom in and check to see if anything needs to be shift returned. Like for instance, I would probably shift return this down. Oh, this one can't be because I'm going to lose space down here. Possibly. Let's bring that back up. We're going to just, that's probably okay. I don't want to lose any space down here. I probably bump red down. Just do a shift return. I would bump my hyphen down. Everything else looks good. I don't want to mess up the spacing too much. And let's do a shift return there. Anything? Oh, actually, I could pull that back up so we have some space. Just make sure you're spacing it looks good. And also just make sure you have periods at the end. That's another thing. If it's, you know, not consistent, that could be something that people notice. There's some periods missing after these. Okay, perfect. Little details like that. Okay, now that we're done, what I'm going to do is I think maybe the food items, like the names, I think maybe we'll change this to a different color just so it pops out a little bit more from the description. So I'm going to go to character color. I'm going to go down to my yellow that, remember, oh, the themes that I had. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. It shouldn't change all of these for some reason. I don't know why my descriptions are changing color. Let's go back to our color for descriptions and change that back to white and click OK. Must have had a weird space in there. Okay, then check it out. Make sure it looks good. I'm going to hide guides. I'm going to save this. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know why this is getting lighter when I do that. It shouldn't get lighter. Oh, I have a shift. I gotta shift this up. Now that I had that weird space in there. And once everything looks good, I'm going to save this as an InDesign file. And it's okay if your other pages are blank. Go ahead and file save, and then do a package. Some of you guys forgot to do this. Make sure you're packaging all of your fonts, your images, and then don't forget the high quality PDF. Package. Save, save, save. And then check your here's I have so much stuff open here. I just saved mine to my desktop, but here's my folder. So this is what we're going to click on just to double check. Go ahead and click your PDF that you just created. And it most likely will show as 2 pages, but you can change that. Let's see. There's a 2-up page display. Oh, it's not going to do it. I think we actually have to save it out. But as long as you have, let's see, view, page display. Here it is, 2-page view. Of course, it's not going to do it. Let's delete, let's see, edit pages. We're going to delete this page for now. So it'll be side by side, these two. Delete. Okay, now it's side by side. So I just had to go to tools. I had to go to tools, organize pages. I just deleted the first and second. Oops, wrong thing showing you here. First and second page, and now I can have the side by side. Now, if you were to package this out, and I think you can do, yeah, you have to change your settings in Adobe first. Don't worry about it if it comes into like just, you know, it doesn't show like mine does where it's side by side. I can always try to view it like this if I edit it really quickly. Just make sure everything looks good, everything's readable, and then what you're going to do is submit. I'm going to save, close tabs. Oh, cancel. I'll close all tabs. Save your PDF if you change it. And then this folder you're going to zip. So you're going to go File, Compress. And then this is the folder you're going to submit. Okay. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this will help.